So what's going on? We are back with the Polaris 400 liquid cooled 4x4 four-wheeler. The last video we found out that this cylinder had some melted aluminum from the piston in it, and I could have got it bored with an oversized piston, but that was going to cost probably a couple more $100 than I would want to put into it, rather than just buying a whole piston cylinder kit. So that's what I did. I picked up this piston kit off of the eBay, and it came in the other day. So let's see what we got. Like it was packaged right. So this should be the piston. This is the gasket kit. Got some stickers. And this is our cylinder. Put this over here. So let's see what we got. So the main thing I want to check for is make sure that the cylinder is correct, machine right, because the Pt.2 brand cylinder kit, they were having problems out of the head studs, and the cylinder wasn't machined in the right, wasn't machined right where the intake goes for the carburetor. So, man, they package stuff really nice. Really nice. There's the new cylinder. I love the way the new cylinders look. So, what was that? Oh, head stud. Well, it was on the exhaust stud. So here's the new cylinder right here. Looks good, bore wise. It's nice and smooth inside. Let me get a light go. Yeah, that looks good inside. Looks like it's machined right where the intake goes. Trying to juggle two cylinders. No. Yeah, it's machined right there. Exhaust port look good. Nice and smooth. I don't see any imperfections. Actually, this is a Pt.2 brand. Well, it's two brands in one. How does that work? This is a Norma piston kit, or Namur. This is a Pt.2 brand cylinder. It's the same thing. But it is machine right. So in reality, I could have got this off of Amazon for $100 less, and I still ended up with the same cylinder. Isn't that's crazy? But it looks right though. I can shoot myself in the foot. But when you look it up on eBay, it says a Namur, whatever the hell it is. Namur. So even the gasket set So the piston kit is by this brand and the cylinder is by this brand. So we need to make sure that this piston is going to fit this cylinder. That is wild. That is really wild. It's a nice looking piston. It's got the, I don't remember what they call this. It's supposed to keep the heat off of the sleeve. Guess with the rings on there, tighten up a little bit. It's going down in there. We'll have to put the rings on there. It's not a real tight fit. Of course, you don't want it too tight, because if it's too tight, it'll seize up. But it's got a little play in it though. If it's too loose, you have piston rattle. Huh. Might have to put the rings on it. So that's what I don't get. They got two different brands. Like the piston kit is one, and then the cylinder is another one. Let's see. Wow, I can't believe it. Try and stay away from the cylinders that they were saying it's no good. And well, both of them say top. Still end up with it. What a kick in the butt. So we got the rings on there now. I don't have my glasses. We could just put the rings in there and see what the ring gap look like. Now this has an exhaust port arrow, so that'll be the arrow on top of the piston here. It's got to go towards the exhaust. then we'll have to do it the other way. So the exhaust would be that way. Oops. It's hard to do this when it's not on the bike. Or not on the engine. It's a tight fit with the rings on there though. Real tight. Where did the pin go? Yeah, this is super tight. I think it's gonna be alright, because I can't even get the I would expect the piston to be a little bit tighter. There we go. Yeah, she's tight. I can't see that. Where did the clip go? Something. I think the top ring moved on me. Yeah, it did. There it goes. It's pretty doggone tight. Really should have squirted a little oil in there, but it's too late for that. Don't have any oil up here anyway. Let's see how tight it is. Get at the very top. don't know. It's got some play in there. It's not bad. Might let a buddy of mine look at it, see what he think. Because once your rings break in, they're going to swell. They're going to seat into the piston. I believe that's going to create some more slack. It feels tight though. It's got a little bit of play. It might be alright. I'll let him take a look at it too. But it's in there. I mean, looking at the bottom of the cylinder, where the piston is, it looks pretty tight. And so I'll let him take a look at it too before I stick it together, because some of these kits, I mean, being that you got a cylinder from one company and a piston kit from another company, you know, your bore can be different. Even though this is a standard 82.94 millimeter piston, you got to make sure the cylinder and the piston match. But I'll let him look at it anyway, and then I think it'll be alright. It's got a little play, but I know when your rings heat up and they seat in, I just found the piston was kind of loose without the rings on there. But like I said, you don't want it too tight because it'll seize up. It won't let the oil circulate down between the rings, and it'll get hot. So anyway, I'll let him look at it. We'll get, if he's cool with it, we'll go ahead and get the four-wheel out and start putting it together. We got the wrist pin bearing, we got the piston pin, both clips, gasket set. I got a new carburetor for it, new choke cable for it, new key switch for it. I just got to get a battery, and I still haven't got any plastics yet. I got some I can mend together. It's hard finding those plastics for the front. Of course, the guy at the shop never did contact, was able to get a hold to, or maybe he didn't contact the original owner to get the seat and the front plastics, and I think it's missing the footwell on one side. So anyway, we'll see what we can do. If this pans out alright, then we'll get that baby back up and going. And this cylinder here, I'll just save it. It can be bored to a different piston size. This is the Polaris 400 two-stroke liquid cool. This one here, when I got it, it supposedly had a bad water pump seal, but then we found out also that the top end was fried on it. The piston had melted, the rings and everything, so, and the cylinder was junk. So we got a top end kit for it, ring, piston, everything. I had the cylinder checked out, made sure that the ring gap and everything was good. We got the gasket set for it. Got a new carburetor, we got a new choke cable, new key switch because it was missing the key switch. I was missing the front plastics and the side cover and seat. I bought a brand new seat for it. We got the front plastics for it. It was missing also this floorboard that goes on the side, and we got it because it's specially made for these. It's different than your regular four-stroke Polaris. Now this is a 98 Explorer. I come to find out Like I say, it's liquid cool. And these things are kind of sought after. Every one I find, they're pretty pricey if they're up and running. And there's not many of them out there. You can find the Scrambler, which the Scrambler had the same engine, and but the Explorer is kind of hard to find. So I also got a shop manual. This is from 85 to 97, which 98, this one is. This was the early model, and then they went over to this body style here, which is kind of different plastics wise, but the engines are the same. But this book here, basically, let's see, basically does the 425s, I think, and the 400s. Let's see, where's the 400 motor at? Which the 425 engine is a lot like the 500. Let's see, that's 4-stroke. This is 2-stroke here. So basically, the 400 engine is really the same. They didn't change much. I thought they would have a picture of the entire engine, but apparently not. The other difference is these here had a chain for the front diff and chain for the rear diff, which when they went to 98, they put a drive shaft that comes from the front diff with universal joints that goes to the rear diff, but they left a rear chain. On the 4-strokes, they had a rear drive shaft going into the diff. I don't know why they left a chain on there. I guess they were still experimenting with chains. But I like this one better because the one with the chain on the front, you have to keep them adjusted. Which you have to adjust the rear anyway, but you just have to worry about the front. But yeah, I've been cleaning up the engine a little bit, cleaning up all the gasket surfaces, getting it ready to put it together. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start by putting the top end on first. I want to go ahead and get the ring, piston, cylinder, get the top end built, and then I'm going to put the new water pump, put the side cover back on, stator, flywheel, starter gear, get all that together. But I really want to go ahead and get this top end done first. And I think that should be it. Like I said, I got everything for it, plastics, got the floorboard that was missing for the right hand side, and hopefully the brakes work. I haven't tried them, but this thing has still got the factory tires on it too. My understanding was a farmer that had it, but that tire there is real dry rotted, so we won't be using that. I got some more tires to put on it too. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get things situated so we can get the top end on it, and then we'll move on to the side cover. And got a new battery for it also. We'll get that in. We'll be good to go. So we got the top end on there, new cylinder, ring and piston, got it all torqued down. Now we're going to put the cylinder head just right here. Put that on there. Get it all torqued down. And get the intake reed valve in there. And then, like I said, we're going to move on to the side cover. So now I have the cylinder head on. Now these cylinder head nuts tighten from 18 to 20 foot-pounds. I would not recommend with these studs. I have read that they're breaking off. I think people are over torquing them, so I torqued these at 18. I mean, you could run it a little bit and go back and recheck. So now it has the cylinder and the head on. I got to remove this exhaust flange so I can put it on the front of this head. It looks like it's missing a stud. Oh no, it ain't. And then I'm gonna move on to putting this side cover with the water pump, flywheel, starter gear, and all that on. Alright, so got the cylinder on and got the head on, all torqued down. Looked in the book and let's see. Torque specs for the cylinder head bolts 18 to 20 and the cylinder base bolts are 25 to 29 foot-pounds. Of course that says unless otherwise noted. So I don't know exactly what the the cylinder base bolts are torqued at, because you can only get to them with a wrench unless you got a wrench that's a torque wrench. But I did torque the head bolts in the sequence that they're supposed to be torqued in. I don't know what this is. That's just showing the number of the bolts, I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, sequence, and I got the reed valve out because it had a lot of dirt on it. The camera just act up for a minute. And I'm going to clean the reed valve before I even put it back in, because these reeds were really dirty. And inside of the cage, it's got a bunch of dirt in it. So I'm going to get that clean. I already got the gasket off. And there's a little oil line that goes to it. That's where your oil sprays into the engine. I think this one don't spray into the carburetor. It actually sprays to the intake from the oiler. So that's the reed cage, and get that back in, and then still going to work on this side. I've been trying to do all the small stuff while this side cover off, so that way I have room to work. And then I'll put the side cover on. So I still got to put that exhaust flange on front of the head too. So just bear with me on that, and I have all that together. Alrighty, got the side cover all clean. Now this cover here covers your water pump housing and your crankshaft gears and everything. Your water pump housing actually bolts in here, but it's got to slide onto the engine first with the propeller or impeller. So I put the new crank seal in the cover because the gasket kit came with it, and I got all the crap cleaned out of it, the gaskets. So now we got the water pump housing, and it's got two seals. One of them face that way and one of them face the other way. So we need to get these seals out of here and replace them. This is the water pump impeller. Like I say, it goes onto the engine. So you put the housing on like that, and your impeller goes on that shaft like that with a 10mm nut, flat washer, and lock washer. And then these are the screws that hose it on the cover. And there's a gasket, which here's the gasket, and here is the 2 water pump seals. And there was some rust in the water pump housing that I cleaned out, so I got that all cleaned up. And there was some rust on the front of the impeller, I see. So definitely some water was getting past somewhere. I don't know where, but anyway, so what we need to do is just take a pick and get these out. They're both the same. That one looks a little different, but these two are the same. Should be the same. So probably just get a little flat screwdriver. Pop it out of there. And you gotta face away from each other, so make sure you put those in right. Whoa! Oh, flew out of there. And there's also a little hole right here. I don't know what that little hole in the housing's for, but the seal was past that. Maybe that's to keep oil going in there to lube the shaft, the water pump shaft, to keep those seals lubed. So we'll have to push that seal in there pretty far. Plus there's a bunch of gunk in there. So let me get that cleaned out. Before we put the new seals in there. You don't really want to go scrubbing on this aluminum housing, because you can damage it where the seal goes, and then the seal will just pop up out of there every time. So this seal will go in I'm thinking they both gotta touch each other, because they go in face to face. But that hole in the housing is there for a reason. And that's the old one. So you want to put them in face to face. This one goes in. It looks like they're touching each other. Yep. So they're in there. So what we need to do now is put this on the shaft first, and then put the impeller on and the gasket, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to make sure this is in there right, and we'll go back over there and put this on. Okay, I'm finally ready to put this cover on. I had to clean off the starter also, and it has a gasket that goes on it, so I just put a little silicone on the gasket to hold it to the starter. That way if we have to pull the starter out, we won't have to worry about the gasket sticking to this side cover, because I believe starter comes out I think through the bottom, but the 3 bolts goes through this cover. And I don't remember if you have to pull the pull cover off to get to it. Your not pull cover, but your belt drive system. But anyway, let's go ahead and start putting this thing back together. Finally, it's a lot of gaskets to clean off. So I got this gasket that goes on the engine. So I'm gonna put just a little sealant. Make sure it goes this way. It goes, no, it goes the other way. I put a little sealant on the engine itself. Now I'm using just some blue Permatex because got on the gears. If I have to pull this cover back off, that gray really sticks. To the block with a gasket, and I can save this gasket without tearing it up. So that's why I'm just gonna use something that's not too heavy. Anything can go wrong, and then you have to pull this cover back off, and then the gasket tore up. Then you got to order another gasket. So I'm trying. Put some not so bad sealant on here. Let's say badass sealant. Just need it just enough just to hold the gasket. That'll be good. I would rather stick to the engine instead of side cover, which factories don't really use sealant on gaskets anyway. So let's put this on there. Just enough to hold it. And then we'll get the water pump housing and get it on there. I'll show you how that's going to work out. I did find out that this bearing comes off of this shaft, and that's what goes into the water pump housing. So let me go grab all that and we'll get it on there. Okay, so this bearing here goes in the water pump housing. I didn't know that until I looked in the book, and this bearing's actually supposed to be in the back of the housing. Tap it in there. Should be in there. Just some light tap. Should be in there far enough where I'm gonna put a little oil on that shaft. So the water pump housing is on. You see that? So when we put this cover on, those studs are going to stick through. But before we put the cover on, we got to put the impellers on. And I would recommend you put a new lock washer on there, because you don't want that impeller to pop off. Now I'm sure there's or torque on here. Of course we'll put the gasket on there. So that is a 10. Grab a 10. Takes a lot putting this thing together. Like I said, a lot of cleaning, a lot of gaskets, but hopefully everything will turn out the way we want it to. So I'm gonna hold that impeller. I'm just gonna make sure there's no binding. I wonder how close does that pull in. I guess it'll be back like that once you tighten it. Because there's nothing behind there. There's no spacers or anything. It just tightens up on there. Okay, so we can put this cover on now. We should be ready. Oh, we gotta put the gasket on. More gaskets. I don't know why they would put the water pump on the inside of the engine. It's kind of like a car. Some of your cars have the water pump inside of the timing chain or timing belt housing behind the timing cover. A lot of gaskets, so that's gonna go like that. And then we finally get a chance to put this cover on. Really need to put a little oil on the crankshaft. Where the seal rides, so the seal won't be dry when it fires up. Make sure this rubber is right. This is a peculiar setup. Because how would you get that back over the drive shaft? So I didn't take this thing apart. It was already apart when I got it. Alright, so that water pump is going to turn. I can't see the screws. Gotta make sure that crankshaft seal slides up on there too, because that crankshaft seal get caught up, then you'd be really in trouble. Let me get a small pick, make sure that crankshaft seal, I know you can't see anything because this electrical's in the way. There you can. Make sure that crankshaft seal goes up on the crank. That could be ugly. Fired up and the seal just chews away. I grabbed a pick, I grabbed a small screwdriver. So I can see the lip of the seal trying to push out. Let me get the right stuff. Make sure that seal, the lip of that seal hard to see. So I can see the lip of the seal trying to push out already. You have to be careful because that spring that's behind the seal pop out also. There. That spring is designed to keep tension on the seal. Get that out of the way. Keep tension on the seal around the crankshaft so the oil won't come back out. And that's the thing I hate. You can't even see the water pump. So now we got to, I'm thinking we got 2 starter wasn't lined up all the way. Got 2 starter bolts, or is it 3? Because we got bolts that go through here. So I'm thinking these bolts. I hate buying stuff that's already tore apart like this, but we got the manual, so we good on that. I'm just going to kind of start the bolts so I know where they go. Just wanna, I'm guessing this is the other one. One of them's longer than the other one. That one's gotta be it. Those are 12s and there's 3 10s that holds the water pump housing. Well, actually, it's 4. Just gonna kind of put all the stuff on there. And there's some bolts that holds the starter. I'm thinking this one. I don't know if this one's got 3 bolts on the starter. It does have 3 bolts. I think the other bolt, I don't know how he took that off. The other bolt comes in from the back side. Let's see, 2 of these are longer than the other ones. So I bet you the longer screws I think one bolt actually goes through the cover. So we got okay. Let me tighten these. Trying to get over in here. Just gonna let's get the 10mm. I think I see where the other bolts go. I bet you one goes up under the back. Got that one there. This one here. one more screw. I don't know where it goes. I bet you. Oop. I keep kicking the camera. There's a screw hole. No, it's not. Now one extra screw. That I don't know where it goes. Then I gotta find the screws that holds the ignition coil. That'll go like that. There's 3 screws missing there, but there's one screw that's, I could have swore the starter had 3 screws holding it in. But I don't know, this might be one of the screws that holds the pool cover on. So I'm gonna have to go dig and find these screws for the coil, ignition coil setup here, or magneto, whatever you want to call it, and find all the screws that holds that on, and I'll make sure there's no other holes that we missed, but it's on there, so that's a plus. Alright, so after doing some searching, I found the 3 screws. They're Phillips head screws that holds the magneto ignition coil to the side cover, and also that one screw that I had, it actually goes to the side cover itself. So I'm just going to put it all together, and I'm not going to seal this off yet when I put the pool cover on, because I don't know if I might have to take that back off. So let's go ahead and put the flywheel on. I got the starter gear in. It's in there nice and neat. Like I said, I'll come back and get all the gasket off of that, because you never know, you might have to take that back loose. And then I do see one thing I missed. There's a hose that go there, and I see it over there, but I think I can fold it and get it in. It's a hose from the head to the side cover, so we can take care of that. No biggie. So I'm gonna blast that on there. Don't need to He-Man it on there and strip the threads out. So that's on there. Matter of fact, I'll give it one more pump there. These Milwaukee impacts, they will twist a bolt in half. So now we can put the pool cover on. And that is supposed to be a long bolt that goes through here. I think that bolt goes all the way back to the starter. ThereThere's 3 bolts. Can't get that one out unless you lift up on the motor a little bit. Look like. I think that bolt I found is strong enough. We'll see. Nope. So I don't know where that bolt went. It was missing all 9 bolts that goes to that cover. I had to find some Now I can't get it back out of there. I think you have to kind of lift up on the motor, probably take the top mount loose. I just want to get that bolt back out of there. Didn't think that one through. Let's see if we can get it to come out. If it comes out, I'll just leave it out, or I might just leave it anyway. To be honest, I don't know why they put a bolt that long through there anyway. Why am I not flushing out here? Okay. Now it's supposed to be some 10mm head screws. I can only find so many that were long enough. Some of them I found are 8s, some are 10s. You always want to make sure you get the right length. If you have to, take the bolt, just kind of lay it up there. That way you can see where it comes out at, because you can screw up, put too long a bolt in there. And you can bust a cover, bust an engine block, do all kind of stuff. It really mess your day up. Been there. That's why I want to make sure all these but that one. I can deal with it without it right now. And don't use or impact if you're unsure of what bolts you're putting in. You go running the screws in there too fast, you find out that they'll go through, and aluminum is real easy to crack. So you don't want to do that. I always do it by hand. I gotta get an 8mm for that one. Wish I could have found some more 10s. I'm fine now. Oh, it's just a little bit too long down there. I can tell where it stopped at. It's not. Something like that that'll ruin your day. I also gotta put some oil in the crankcase. So this one holds crankcase oil. Remove your crank bearings, water pump, shaft bearing, and the dipstick I've seen, it's right here. Alright, so the cover's on. Let's see, will it pull over? Yep. Sound like she got some compression on. So now I gotta put on the carburetor. I gotta put on the exhaust, these water pipes or water hoses. There's a hose to go across there. This hose here goes there. The hose clamp that comes from the radiator. We got this one. It was already on the cylinder head. Like I said, get that in. We'll run the exhaust, carburetor. Have to put the shifter back on and get some fuel to it. We'll be ready to fire this dude up. So I'm gonna get to work on that and I'll bring y'all back. So I was adding oil to the crankcase on this thing, and it has a dipstick back here at the back, a little bitty one, and I ended up putting too much oil in it. So that's all that you need right at the tip of that dipstick. I filled it up all the way to the top. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find any information on how much oil this thing holds in the crankcase. A lot of the guys were saying that your 2-cycle oil goes into the crankcase and lubes the bearings, and some guys were saying that there's oil in the crankcase that lubes the counterbalance bearings, which is your crankshaft bearings. But I put too much in it, and I found that there is a drain where you can change the oil. See if I can get up under here, kind of get it, oil dripping. But that Phillips head screw, where you at? Let's try and get the light on it there. Phillips head screw right there. I'm trying to focus in on it. It's that Phillips head screw right there. It's real hard to focus in on that thing. Let's see if I can get up there. You take that. Let's see. Why are you not focusing in on it? Get back, sir. You take that Phillips head screw right there loose. Hey, I can't focus in on it because there's so much other crap. But yeah, that screw right there. If you take that Phillips head screw loose, you can drain the crankcase oil. But you'll have to take this lower skid plate out to get to it, which is this plastic skid plate here. Bunch of 3/8 bolts, and you can drain the oil out of the crankcase if you put too much. I think it holds at least about 20 ounces. It don't hold a quart. I tried to put almost half a quart, overfilled it. And then this screw here is to drain your pull cord housing. So if you get water in your pull cord housing, or the housing where your flywheel and stuff is, you take this 14mm screw loose right here, and you can drain the water out. So I gotta tighten that screw back up. There's oil still coming out of it, and just something that I found out on my own there. Alright, so we're moving right along. I got the carburetor installed, and got all the cables hooked up. Got the new key switch. Put the new battery in. I haven't tried to turn it over yet. I want to do that with y'all. But got the exhaust all on. I got coolant in it. Now this 2-stroke reservoir is full. Full of 2-cycle. So this thing has got an oil injection system on it. So you put your 2-cycle oil in this bottle here, and it has an injection pump down here on the front of the motor, which is in this block. And the oil comes from the tank into the injection pump, and as the engine is spinning and running, it has like a gear drive inside, and it's pumping oil out of the tank through this little hose here, and it comes up and it goes into the intake right there. And it pre-mixes the 2-stroke oil itself with the gas that's being brought into the carburetor, and the vacuum is sucking the gas out of the carburetor into the engine, and then you got the oil that's pumping in through the intake. So it's mixing the gas on its own. Now a lot of times these pumps will fail, and that will cause your engine to seize up. This one has a little inline filter right here that's kind of oily. That catches all the trash coming out of the tank. You can see that oil line is real oily. So that hose could be leaking. But what I'm gonna do, just to run it, I'm gonna pre-mix some in the gas tank, which this is the gas tank here. I'm gonna put some pre-mix in the tank, and I gotta get a new fuel filter because this filter, it just cracked, it's disintegrated. And I'm gonna pre-mix some in the tank, and as this thing is running, after we get it running real good, I'm gonna pull this little hose off and see if there's any 2-cycle oil being pumped up there. Now I could do it without the engine running, but I only put just a little oil in the cylinder just so we can get the top end on it. So I don't want to keep cranking it over and that oil disappears and then the cylinder is just straight dry. So we'll run it on pre-mix in the tank, get it running, then we'll pull that hose off and make sure the injector pump is working. And if it's pumping oil out the injector pump, then we know this is working right. But this is full, so I don't know if it's not working and it's not pumping oil. I mean, it don't pump a lot of oil out of these tanks. It'll take a long time to empty this tank, but it's full. So either somebody refilled it or the oil is not working. We don't know. But that piston had a melted spot on it, so I'm not sure if it's from, they said it's a water pump seal, or it was from lack of 2-cycle oil. So anyway, I got the battery hooked up. Let's just see right quick if everything comes on. Let's see. All right, got neutral light. Let's see, engine start. So this one, it's got this button that it's got a light on it. It's got a little red light. This has the button, it don't have a regular start button. You push up on this red button here, let's see. Well, starter works. That's good, solenoid works. I kind of need to spray a little lube in that button. I had to force it up there. So we know that it turns over without having to use the pull cord. We don't know if it's got spark yet, but we will find out here in a bit. So what I'm going to do is, let me turn the key off. I'm going to go ahead and get the fuel tank filter on there. Get the tank ready. I guess before we even try to, before we put the tank on there, we should just check it, see if it's got spark. I tighten that plug up. At least we'll know it's got spark, and we won't be putting the tank on there and then have to fight with getting the spark plug out with the fuel tank in the way, because I don't think you can get to this spark plug without removing the fuel tank. But at least we'll know what the ignition system is. Let's see. Alright, let's see if we got spark. Key on. Oh yeah, we got good spark, so that's good. So we can put the plug back in it. And that's a brand new plug that was already in it. So I guess when it quit running, they were trying to get it going by putting a new spark plug in it. So we know we got ignition, starting system. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this gas tank ready, get it on there. We'll get some premix mixed up, and we'll see what this dude crank up. Alright, so what I decided to do was leave the gas tank off because I remembered that these steering bushings are bad. It's supposed to be a rubber bushing in the steering neck, and it didn't have one. So I'm gonna have to pull the gas tank back off to fix that. So we're just gonna run it off the gas bottle right now. Plus I don't have a fuel filter for the gas tank, so I decided just to leave that off. We'll run off the gas bottle with some premix, and then the steer bushings will be in, I think, tomorrow, so we can get that in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some premix I got mixed up. Just a little 32-to-1 premix. Like I say, it might smoke like a crop duster for a while because I don't know if that oiler is working, the 2-cycle injection oiler. Alright, so we know we got spark, we know we got fuel. I'm going to turn the gas on. Hope the carburetor's good. It's one of them China brands. I don't see nothing leaking. It's filling up. Key on. Should we use choke? Let's try it without choke first. Sounds like it might be fouling, I mean not fouling, but loading up. It's hard to tell because I don't have an airbox. Oh, another thing too, I don't have an airbox for it. This thing comes with a special airbox for the 2-stroke motor, and I gotta get one. So I don't have an airbox. But it's hard to tell how it's running because I'm listening to the back of the carburetor. But it sounds pretty good. I knew it was going to smoke. But it just I don't want to over rev it and seize it up. I want it to break in. Something don't sound right. Something in this cover over here is. I know it was spitting out a bunch of trash out of this blower cover, but something really started roaring over in there. I'm gonna have to take that cover off. I don't know if something fell down in there and it got caught up in the belt, but that did not sound good at all. It's still hard to tell how it runs though because we don't have an air filter. I know the choke is off. I don't know what that noise was though. Yeah, something in there ain't right. A whole bunch of acorns and stuff came out. I hope it ain't a gigantic mouse nest in there. If it is, somebody got chewed up. So to take that off, I gotta take this side step off so I can get to the back bolts. So let me get this side step off and we'll get to the cover, pull that cover off and see what's in there. Something is in there. It might be pecans. It could be a whole squirrel or something. I hope it's not nothing that's gonna freak us out. Alright, so I got the floorboard removed. Let's go ahead and pull this cover off and see what lies behind there. Something in there is it's either acorn. Hopefully it ain't a dead squirrel or a dead rabbit. I can deal with a nest, but something dead I don't like to deal with. But I know, like I said, when it was running, it was shooting all kind of crap out of there. I didn't think to even pull this off because it was already sealed up. Whoa, what was that? Acorn. Oh, this is going to be exciting here, guys. Bunch of acorns. Now, if I jump back and run, y'all don't laugh. Y'all ready? I'm gonna screw this screw. Where did that screw go? Is there one more screw? I'm missing a screw somewhere. Oh, it's behind this. It's behind this bracket here. Alright, here we go. Oh my God. It is completely full of acorns. Look at that. Completely full. That noise was all the acorns. All the acorns getting caught up in the belt. Let me cut this fan off. Let's try to get some of the smoke out of here. So that thing's completely full of acorns. Wow. Something had them a good home in there. Y'all see that? Get y'all in there a little closer. So this thing's set with this air duct open, and probably a squirrel, either a squirrel or a pet rat, or pet mice or something. And all that was caught up in the belt. That's what that noise was, all those acorns and stuff, and it got caught in the belt. So I'm gonna have to jack it up. Look at that. Oh man. Just look at that right there. That is ridiculous. So I'm gonna get the vacuum and clean all that out of there before we put the cover back on. It stinks too. Man, it stinks. It really stinks. Yeah, let me get this cleaned out. Alright, let's get the vacuum fired up. Alright, so I'm going to leave the cover off so it can spray the rest of the remnants of the pecans and acorns and grass and whatever else was in there. So let's crank it up again. lacks on power. And I got it idled all the way up. I pulled the choke and it cut off. It sounds like it's lacking on power real bad. I got it idled all the way up as far as it'll go. And it's bogging real bad. I mean, other than that, the motor sounds decent. Let me turn the exhaust fan back on. Smoky. Thing about those two-strokes, they get smoky smoke. I think it's got a carburetor issue. It's like I said, it's bogging real bad. Make sure we got enough coolant. Low on coolant, that's one thing. Put some more antifreeze at. Probably need to crank it up and run it without the radiator cap. See what it crank back up. The water pump circulating. Idles real low. See if I can. The idle screw turn. I think I got it. To get the idle screw to come up a little bit more. You can see the water circulating up. Loading up real bad. Yeah, it's loading up. It's got gas coming out of the bottom of the carburetor. I'm going to have to check that carburetor out because it's loading up real bad. And it's gas coming out of the overflow tube. That's why it's smoking so bad. Plus, I got the idle screw turned all the way in. So I might have to do some float adjustment on the needle where it goes into the seat. And I was playing with the air screw. It's hard to adjust it without the air box. But I can tell it's loading up. Now I might have to play with the jets. I looked up the factory jets and it was close enough, but we got a lot of gas coming out. So let me do some research on this carburetor, make sure I got the right jets, which they were close, but not close enough, like I said. And I might adjust this needle, see if we can get it running better, because it sounds pukey. It idles, but it's just not getting up on the top end power like it's supposed to. So I went ahead and pulled that oil line off, and you can see that it's oil coming out of that hose. I haven't cranked it yet, I just pulled it off, but that hose. Coming out of it. Let me see if I rev it up. Yes, something coming out. Shaking so bad, but it is oiling though. Starting to run out of gas. Well, the oiler's working. I forgot to hook the hose back up, so now it's all kind of oiled down there. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some adjusting on that carburetor though, because it's just bogging real bad. It's loading up. Let me get that thing off. Okay, so I took the carburetor off. I adjusted the needle and seat float. Also, I adjusted the needle in the middle of the carburetor, your pilot needle. Usually they're set in the middle, but I moved it down one notch. So let's see what it does now. And also, I pulled the hose off of the two-stroke oil injector bottle, and like a cup full of water came out, and then the oil. So it got water in this bottle. Somehow some condensation or something got in there, and so I drained it all out, and I had a quart, so I put a quart in there. I'm just letting the new oil just pump through the system. So once I start seeing new two-cycle oil, I will hook it back up to the intake. The reason what made me drain it, I started seeing like real clear watery oil come out of the oil injection line going to the intake, and that's what made me take the hose off the tank, and that's when I found out I had all that water in there. So let's crank it up and see how it runs. Key on. Sounds way better. That sounds way better now. Better than it did last time. Oh yeah. It sounds real good now. It even idles better. Tail lights on. Alright, so I'll let it sit and cool again. But yeah, it sounds way better than it did last time. So now the only thing I got to do is just get a air box for it. Got to go through the brakes. These screws were rusted up here in the master cylinder. I tried to heat them up and they just broke off. Plus it was empty anyway. So I got to do the usual thing, go through the brakes. Hopefully I don't need calipers. Hopefully it just needs a master cylinder. And make sure it's charging and start putting it back together. Oh, and I got to replace that steering shaft bushing. It's completely gone. Somebody had it loose. I guess they were going to replace it. So it's a work in process here on this thing, but we will get it going. Alright, so after running this thing, I ran into a snag. The head gasket started leaking right at the front here. I don't know if you can see it. Head gasket started leaking antifreeze right down the front of the cylinder head, and it was dripping right on the pipe. So it's been sitting here for about an hour, and let's see, it's still kind of wet. I kind of went back and retorqued it, but I'm gonna have to pull the cylinder head back off because it's got some antifreeze. You can see one little drip right there. So I ordered another. It's even coming out of the head bolt. Look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull this pull the cylinder head back off. Order another gasket. I hope the cylinder head is not warped, because that would suck. That means I had to get another cylinder head. But I think when I put the new gasket on, what I should have done is spray some of this copper spray on gasket sealant. I usually put these on head gaskets on cars, and it bonds and seals up real good. So I'm gonna drain the antifreeze back out. I'm gonna have to wait on the gasket to come because I don't want to mess this engine up. And then once that get here, we can get all the plastics back on. And I got some tires for it. They're not new tires, but they're better tires. That's what's on here, because those front ones are dry rotted. And get this thing ready to take out for a ride. So that's gonna be it for right now on the 400. I'm gonna get the cylinder head off of it, get the new gasket on, make sure it's sealed up, and like I say, we'll finish putting it back together. So y'all like, share, subscribe as always. Thank you for tuning in. My viewers I got on this channel, thank you for sticking around. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, notification button, and hit that like button as well. And check out my first channel, RPM Auto. That's the auto channel. And also there's some four-wheelers and stuff, boats, jet skis I did like years ago still on that channel. So you can go over there and look through some of the playlists, and you'll see a lot of other videos of some small engine stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this antifreeze drain out of this thing. I'm gonna end the video here so it won't be super duper long, and we'll get back. Peace out. So I went ahead and pulled the cylinder head off and compared the gaskets. So this is the aftermarket gasket here. It is just paper thin, and this is the original gasket. They're the same thickness. You can see where this one got some blow-by marks on it. So I guess it had a blow head gasket on the other cylinder. But I checked the head with a flat ruler. Everything is nice and flush. I went over to the bike and I checked, made sure this was all nice and even. The head, the cylinder heads, cylinder's not warped or anything. Put the ruler on there. All that looked good. So the only thing I can see is that it's just a poor gasket. I mean, that thing is paper thin. I mean, it's about as thick as a notebook paper. So my theory is I was going to use the spray on copper stuff, but I got to doing some Googling, and they were saying using high temp sealant on a water cooled dirt bike head gasket, which four-wheeler, same thing if it's two-stroke, especially when replacing or dealing with a blown head gasket. Phone went out. Will give it a tighter seal. So I'm going to use the Mighty Old Gray High Temp Permatex sealant. I'm going to put it on the cylinder head, put it on the cylinder. I'm going to put it back together, and I'm going to torque it. I'm not going to super torque it. I'm just going to snug it, and then I'm going to let it sit overnight, and then I'm going to go back and torque it again to torque spec. I believe that should solve the issue. I got a gasket coming, but it's going to be the same, I believe. Same thickness, same material. So I guess that's what happens when it's not a good seal. You see on the old gasket, antifreeze leak by. So you won't see this in this video because I'm still waiting on some other stuff to come for it, and I don't want this video to be super duper long like it is now. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that. In the next video, you'll see if that really worked. If it didn't work, I'll let you know. I have a gasket by then and a new gasket, and like I say, if that don't work, I'll change the gasket. I wonder if you can double the gaskets up, but then like seal them together or something, put sealant between. I don't want to do that, but I'll let y'all know. So like I said before, peace out. Y'all have a good one. Stay tuned.